So primarily you're in Bitcoin, not as much in real estate, maybe multifamily. Is there any other areas that you're looking at investment wise?
I wish I had more Bitcoin. I think this is a once in a generation event. This has been a really good trade if you look at the long term chart. It's very, very difficult for me to bet against this chart.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kryptonized. Very special guest. You've all heard of him, Gary Cardone. Big Bitcoin guy, big real estate guy, big all around guy. And we've got him here today to talk about Bitcoin, real estate, and tokenization. So, Gary, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning to Southern California, buddy.
Actually, it's been raining here. I'd probably switch weather with you. You're over in Florida, aren't you?
Yep.
Where are you?
St. Pete, down in St. Pete, Tampa area.
Yeah, I've owned buildings there. In fact, it's a very interesting up and coming area.
It is smoking hot.
I mean, you know what else is smoking hot is Bitcoin. How did you get into it? Why? Where's it headed? Where are you headed with Bitcoin?
I got into Bitcoin in 2018, looked at it in 16, was kind of put off by some of the tribal communications between the various groups, and then really started studying it once I had a really small position in it. Started studying, went down the rabbit hole pretty tight, and I've always looked for a supply and demand commodity pool that I could buy that couldn't be manipulated or managed. I mean, I look at Bitcoin as a monopoly that has no regulatory exposure, but I get to own a part of the monopoly. So it's a very unique opportunity. It doesn't surprise me that it attracted me. It's got a bunch of characteristics that would interest a guy like me. I came from the energy space, been involved with real estate, which with my brother, and the payments industry, and Bitcoin just looked like it was coming here at the right time, at the right place. When I got into it, I thought it was way too early, $300 or $3,000. Today, it's down 7% this morning at 64,000. It's about a $1.3 trillion market cap. And that's the way I look at Bitcoin. I look at it, it's market cap more than the price of Bitcoin. So it's really a fascinating study. If somebody spends 10 hours on this subject, it's very hard. I think 25 hours, it's near impossible not to invest in this space. 10 hours get your mind a little bit, the intellectual appetite whetted. But a good 25 hours. I've never seen anybody study this properly with 25 hours and walk away from it.
This episode sponsored by my company, Smart Blocks, where you can go and tokenize your real estate if you're a developer, or if you're watching from anywhere in the world, you can buy fractions in real estate for as little as $25 a token. Check it out, smartblocks.xyz. What was really the thing that got you as opposed to some of the other tokens like Ethereum? Why Bitcoin? Are you a Bitcoin maxi, or you just like the qualities of it because it's immutable, nobody really controls it, especially the government?
Well, if we go back to my monopoly comment earlier, I don't think any of the other tokens have a headless a framework where they can't be regulated. So with Ethereum as a token, it has a head, it has an address, it has a human being that if something were to happen to that human being, I think Ethereum's price would be impacted. I think if Elon Musk died tomorrow morning, Tesla's price would be impacted, right? That's fair.
Yeah, very
So
fair.
to me, it's pretty fair that Ethereum would get, slaughtered if Vitalik got hurt. With Bitcoin, it doesn't have any of those. So I think Bitcoin is its own asset and its own asset class. And I think everything else, you might as well put it in and this is not being disrespectful to these others. Maybe some of these other coins will make it, But I don't think they're very different than buying a token at 7-Eleven to win the lottery. I think it's exactly the same thing. It probably has more regulatory risk than the lottery, quite frankly.
Okay. And remember, direct all comments to Gary Cardone on that one. Let's move to real estate. Let's move to real estate.
Send it.
Send it. Are you heavy into real estate now as you are into Bitcoin?
No, no. And if we think about real estate, I think it'd be very helpful, Mark, to talk about there are three real estate classes. There's home ownership. Home ownership, in my opinion, is not an investment. Home ownership is home ownership. Apartment buildings, multi-dwelling. Now that is an investment, and I like apartment buildings. And then there's commercial and industrial real estate. I'm not such a fan of commercial real estate right now, or industrial real estate. So, but apartment buildings that generate cash flow, that's a great business. And I think you're going to see a bunch of Bitcoin whales move into real estate through this next phase. That would be my prediction. So I think they're very different, but I think they can feed each other. I think in the future you're going to see a package of real estate and Bitcoin as your equity bond portfolio was in the 90s. We may see a flippening of real estate and Bitcoin being that kind of special package.
I think a lot of people are betting on that to happen, including myself. So just keeping your investor hat on is so primarily you're in Bitcoin, not as much in real estate, maybe multifamily. Is there any other areas that you're looking at investment wise?
Uh, Man, I wish I had more Bitcoin. I think this is a once in a generation event. Um, this has been a really good trade if you look at the long term chart. It's very, very difficult for me to bet against this chart. It would require a pretty heavy debate on. Look, if we look at real estate, right? Why is real estate going up? Real estate's going up because we continue to trash the U.S. dollar. That's the reason real estate goes up, right? When you can borrow 70% of loan to value, put up 20, 30, 40 grand, and then buy a house for 210. That you can't do that with any other assets.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't go to the bank and buy $10 million worth of gold, but only come up with $2.5 million.
Right.
Right. So that really, really helps real estate. If we had to put up 80% and carry only 20 on an interest-bearing note, I'm not sure real estate would be priced at $400,000 a home, right?
Yeah.
So to me, Bitcoin is a product. I can't build more Bitcoin. I can't magically make more land show up with Bitcoin. I can't put concrete in the water in San Diego or St. Petersburg and build a whole new community of Bitcoin. This is a very, very unique product that I've never been able to find a supply and demand mix that can't be managed by someone else or accelerated. So to me, it's I don't think I'm long enough Bitcoin, man.
Well, there you hear it. You've heard it directly from them. Can't buy enough Bitcoin. There's a lot of people that saying the same thing. And pretty much today would probably be a good buying opportunity for those that aren't in it now. Especially when you see the I look at the institutional level of investment. It's just off the charts. I mean, it's the fastest growing funds for BlackRock, and I think some of the others. All right, let let's finish out with something that you might be a little more skeptical of: tokenization. Even though you did mention Bitcoin and real estate in the same sentence, in terms of real estate backed by a crypto-like instrument like tokens, what are your thoughts long term on that, even short term on that?
Short term, I think it's easier to say short term that the tokenization market, NFT of real estate, has been over promised and grossly under delivered. And I'm not trying to be negative on this presentation here, but the tokenization the non-fungible token concept. In order for that to work, you have to have fungible products. And my house in St. Pete is very different than the house next door. Let's assume that they're the same footprint. What if he's got gasoline in his grass, right? Or toxins, some type of. What if he's got black mold, right? His property is not the same as my property. A car, even a car is slightly different. But let's say you're buying a basic Volkswagen, that's going to trade like a commodity, right? I mean, they're all the same.
Yep.
The difference is the color. So with homes, I could see pieces of art. I could see a Mona Lisa, man. We have one Mona Lisa. We're going to fractionalize that Mona Lisa. I could see how you could token apartment buildings where the person paying the lease, the rent, also invests in this 300 unit building. And that makes a lot of sense to me, right? That you would have a renter also investing in the base real estate that they're living in. And so they take care of that property more. There's more ownership. There's a lot of synergies there. But to do this on homes, I've got 2 homes in St. Pete. I've offered every tokenization real estate person on the planet, come tokenize my house. I'll even sell it at a discount to see this work, and no one follows through. So I just think we're early, Mark.
I think
we're very early.
I think we're early, but each of these is like a stock. They're each unique. Your house, but I wouldn't even do houses right now. I would focus on commercial real estate
Correct.
and industrial real estate.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there are companies doing real estate, residential, like arrived.com, and they're very successful. I just don't think they're making any money. First of all, they have to go in and buy everything up, and usually they're tokenizing for $120,000, $130,000. I don't see how they make money, especially when you add in legal and the administrative aspects of it. But commercial makes total sense to me, especially with the banks the way they are.
Right.
So that's where I'm focused, is more on the commercial side. We'll see about residential, but I think everyone's looking at these as very unique instruments. Not, they're not trying to make it like a Volkswagen, where everything's exactly the same. They're saying every one of these is unique, buyer beware type of thing, just like an investor would have to do when buying your house or your neighbor's house.
Yeah, well, and that tells you everything, right? That means that the big funds, the BlackRocks of the world, I mean, I think Larry understands that he wins if he can fractionize. And I think that's the way we look at it. Hey, NFT it, let's talk about owning fractions of real estate that you could not own before. Right. Just as if you could own a fraction of a Mona Lisa or an original painting, which should drive the value of those assets up over long term.
Well, the study showed 10%.
If I can,
10% increase.
10% increase. Yeah, that's big. That's big for
a huge portfolio.
Monster.
The other thing is you can invest anywhere in the world easily with 4 clicks, as well as take in investment from around the world. That's the beauty of using the same tools that Bitcoin's using in order to buy into these properties. So Larry Fink is our biggest cheerleader. I mean, he's the one who's really coming out and saying the tokenization of everything is the next step after he does ETFs.
That's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, quite frankly. I know you're probably like, man, this guy's crazy on Bitcoin.
No, I've met a lot of Bitcoin maxis. I'm a Bitcoiner.
Well, we're at $65,000, and we've had the worst marketing and promotion program in the history of mankind.
What marketing?
Okay, exactly. Yeah. Decentralization has some issues,
right?
And one of those is no central theme, right?
Yeah.
And we're still at 65.
I know.
We're still at $1.3 trillion with
crazy
bad marketing.
Crazy. It's all word of mouth.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Larry's going to put the Bitcoin on marketing steroids.
All right. Well, with that, Gary, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man.
And
Great.
Good luck with everything. And maybe we'll have you back in a few months to talk, just give an update on everything.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.